What up, guys? It's your boy Just King ZA. Welcome back to the Just King ZA podcast. And yeah, man, on this video, I'm gonna be talking about South Africa. The question on everybody's, or the statement in everybody's mind right now: South Africa is headed for the pits. South Africa is headed for the pits. South Africa is in a very, very, very dire situation, whereby people need to wake up. People need to realize that this country is going down the drain with all the corruption and all the killings, political killings, all the unalivings of people, and all these killings of waras, the witness the, if you're a whistleblower, you were killed, all the corruption, the stealing of money, the lack of economic growth, and the tender systems, all those things are what I'm talking about, So, yeah, man, that's what I'm going to be talking about on this video. But before we get into it, don't forget, please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel so that the channel can grow. Subscribe to the platform so that the platform can grow. A lot of you guys are watching the channel, but you are not subscribed to the channel. So, let's subscribe, and there's more content to be coming out of this channel. Interview style content, with guests, some of the people that I know, some of the people that I don't know, some of the people you see on podcasts, interviews, and all of that. Those are some of the things that we'll be doing on this channel. So you need to subscribe so that you don't miss out on this content. So anyways, let's get straight into it. South Africa currently, man, it's going through a lot, What happened? ANC, what happened? What happened, ANC? What happened? What happened to the economic growth, that we used to have, and the things that we used to do back in the days when we were a proud nation, a powerful nation that was raking in lots of money, and, the industries were growing, whatever it is you studied here in South Africa, you'd be sure to be able to get a job, and every industry was booming. Basically, that's what I'm talking about. Whether it's the tourism industry, whether it's whatever industry, it was booming, So you would be certified, to do it. You'd be certified to be able to, basically you'd feel very, very free to be able to get into any industry within this country. You know what I'm saying? So now we're at a place whereby things are no longer booming. Things are no longer booming. There's a motivation of corruption. People are corrupt all over the place. People are accepting bribes to get jobs. People are, just doing whatever it is that they want to do when it comes to getting money and whatever. People are not establishing, instead of people establishing and creating businesses and being innovative and all of that, people are just becoming millionaires, billionaires, whatever, by stealing government money. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that people just stealing government money, and the likes of Maumela, you look at Maumela's building, the household that he was staying in, his house. You can just imagine if those funds were used to build a hospital in Tembisa. That would have been one of the finest hospitals there is. That would have been one of the finest, beautiful hospitals there is, But what did he do? Man is building his own house, Now if you get arrested or whatever, you're leaving that house behind. What is it going to be used for, People don't understand that the building of infrastructure is like that. It's like building a house. It's like building your own, you just add bigger rooms and whatever, which would be, the hospital rooms and whatever, That's it, and then that's a facility. People would much rather focus on building a residential place for themselves where they will stay and where they will have more than enough room for themselves, just for people to come visit them. That's it. What about your country? Well, your hospital looks the way Tembisa Hospital is looking. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes some things is just complete dumbness, man. It's just complete, like, you don't understand, like, what the hell are people thinking? And I feel like some of these people, they think that they're doing such a great job, they think that they're killing it, they think like I'm a clever, they're at the top of their game or whatever. They're not at the top of their game. I mean, when you get arrested, you leave those things behind. Look at some of the people that have done things and have been found out and have been busted. What happened to them? Have been arrested and whatever. Are they enjoying those things? No. But if you had built a hospital and come together with the government and whatever, and create a facility which will be named after you, come on, guys, this is not rocket science. Named after you, you'll be a legend forever, man. But you guys don't even consider those things. You think we're mad when we're talking about creating an impact, when we talk about creating a social impact. You think maybe we just dreamers. People are just dreamers. No, people are not just dreamers. People are failing to understand the power of legacy. People are failing to understand the power of legacy. They just want, no, I want it now, here, now, that's it. See my children eating, that's it, I'm good. Yeah, I want more, whatever. Hey, this one stole this much, I can also steal this much. Yeah, I want power, I want to be able to control this one. I want to be able to bang this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl. That's it. Basically living in vanity, living in vanity, chasing after vanity. Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiastes, that's what it talks about. So, it's crazy stuff, man. Very, very, very crazy stuff to think about, I mean, people are put in a position of power. People are put in a position where they can change the things. They can change things and further impact, further create more things. South Africa is the way it is right now, I can tell you, because of the impact and the brand South Africa. The brand South Africa. The brand South Africa. The brand Nelson Mandela. The brand F.W. de Klerk. Even though other people don't think of it that way, but that whole thing where they got Nobel Peace Prize and whatever, that whole transition, the Nelson Mandela, of course, is the biggest one, of course. That peaceful transition, everyone who participated in that peaceful transition, we clap hands for them, because that decision is the reason why South Africa is where it is today, or where it was in its booming, when it was the most booming. But even till this day, it's still very, very good country. It's a very good country, very powerful country, still doing well comparatively, with many countries all over the world, But most of our stuff, because I remember there was a time where tourism was our biggest earner in this country in terms of money. The amount of money we were getting, most of it was because of the big contributor was tourism, and again, the brand South Africa. The brand South Africa brought people in. People came, spent money, did all these things, because of the brand. So people don't understand that building facilities and creating things that are beautiful in certain areas that you're not used to getting such things. I mean, look at Baragwana. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very, very incredible thing, that was built back then, and it is, imagine, the biggest hospital in Africa. That alone is something to think about, something to bring tourists. That is something that brings tourists. Brings tourists to say, hey, I want to see this hospital, this big hospital, biggest in Africa. I want to see, and when you've built it, it attracts all this talent, all these people. All of a sudden you've got this neurosurgeons, you've got all these things, all this. You understand what I'm saying? All we had to do was build and bring in the right people to run it, and then work along with the government, and just a thing like that. You might find that thing might not even cost you that much, It might not even cost you crazy things, but because of greed, hey, Buffett. But because of just greed, people being greedy, people don't understand that you don't need much to create impact. But people choose not to create impact, they choose to be thugs. People choose to be thugs. So just look at South Africa the way it is right now, man. You look at the government, people like Cyril Ramaphosa and all of that, they could be creating something, impact, something. What can you really point about Cyril and say, Cyril did this, Cyril changed the game, Cyril did great things? What can you really say? G20? It's good. But things like G20, they need more things. It's just one event. One event can't change everything. One event can't, But of course, well done to them for doing that one. It was a very good hosting, but there's more that needs to be done in order for us to reach certain levels of, to maintain or to create this thing. People want a story, guys. People want a story, So, and that's what many African countries as a whole are failing to understand. That you need a story. I need to go and see. It's like, people like Robert Mugabe and all of that. Robert Mugabe could have been someone who turned things around and further turn things around to another level. But the man chose to do an atrocity. He could have come in and said, I want to change things. I want to recorrect the things of the past. I want to do right by people. I want to shake things up. I want to make things in a certain way. I want to collaborate. But of course, he did try to say that let's share the farms. Let's share the farms with the natives. When he was speaking to the whites, and then the whites said no, they didn't want to share. They had 15 farms and whatever. They couldn't even share with the people. And I feel like that's what made Robert Mugabe to now use pressure and whatever, But I think that the violence was not necessary. So now, even if you can say Robert Mugabe was great and whatever atrocities or bad things that happened under him have clouded his, greatness. Quite unfortunate, right? That's just the thin line between these things. That is the thin line between creating history in a good way and creating history in an atrocious way. You know what I'm saying? There's a thin line. You need to tread carefully. So, to me, I feel like Robert Mugabe maybe could have just kept, speaking and negotiating. Negotiations. In South Africa, the thing that worked for us is negotiation. You should have just kept negotiating. And then you would have reached a thing where the country now can work together, can become a rainbow nation, just like South Africa became a rainbow nation. Yes, of course, there are other things that are not perfect here in South Africa, but those things can still be fixed because the country did not go into complete destruction. If the country has become a dystopia, a complete destruction, then if the country became completely unstable, then there would be nothing. But what Mandela and them did created a stability which we can always come back. What's happening now, that's what's worse, that's what's horrible. What's happening now is creating a dystopia. Slowly but surely is creating a dystopia. Once you reach dystopia level and unstabilized level, then it's hard. And then from there, instead of correcting, instead of being peaceful, your spectrum goes to the bad side. And then once you allow your spectrum to go to the dark side, you will commit atrocities. And for me, some of these unalivings and these killings, I'm used to TikTok language, unaliving, killing. These killings are just a glimpse of that atrocious thing that can happen. there are a glimpse of possible genocide. You understand? It's just a glimpse that when people can't deal with issues, then they must use the knife, they must unalive people, they must kill people, they must shoot people. They're doing it one by one, one by one. What happens when the whole country now arises, or a bunch of people, a group, rises, fighting for the right thing, fighting for uprightness, for fighting for the economy, fighting for the people of South Africa? What happens now? Then you get atrocities. If the government fails to acknowledge the dystopia, or them leaning to the dark side of the spectrum, then they will do what? Then they will take out their mind, will tell them, you understand, they will go to the dark side and try to unalive. For example, a thing like Marikana, it's another glimpse, it's a bigger glimpse, but it's a glimpse of where these things can go. These things can go very horrible. You know what I'm saying? So, and then after that, then this dystopian nightmare and assassinations, even more than assassination, is genocide. And then from there, South Africa is now known for the genocide. It's now known for the horrible things that happened and what the leaders have done. And from there, the world starts saying, no, we don't deal with this. Then the investors run away. The investors move away. The people that you created an attack on, they also move away. They go out there, they talk, they badmouth you. But it's not really badmouthing, it's telling the truth, because you've committed atrocities. And then you get what? You get sanctioned, you get all these type of things. You get sanctioned, and all of a sudden you get a country that is completely going to the ruins. That has gone actually to the ruins. And coming back, you will need another Nelson Mandela. You look at the apartheid government. The apartheid government also leaned into the dark side of the spectrum. But those guys were so efficient. They worked hard. They made sure the country is functioning, is whatever. So they are. I feel like that's why there was a bit of a comeback. I feel like that is why because those guys, as much as they did horrible, they also developed the country, along with our people. Don't forget people like Mangope. Don't forget the leaders, Bantustan leaders, who tried and did something as well. So they did a lot, those guys, and it is very important that maybe that was even. I think that is the saving grace. That is the saving grace for them to still be proudly South Africans and whatever, because we acknowledge that you guys, you did horrible, but we know you worked hard for this country, and the hard work that they did is what giving them grace in this country, and what makes us to accept them and to say, okay, we are South Africans. Let's work together. You guys did well, even though your government was horrible, but we can work with these skills that you have of farming, of building, on all these things. Okay, we need it in this new country of ours where we are in leadership. So South Africa right now, we are almost going to the dark side of the spectrum, almost there. Will there be a Nelson Mandela that will rise up? I'm saying let's not wait for a Nelson Mandela. Let's all be Nelson Mandela. Let's all fight for an ideal for which we are prepared to die. That ideal of the Rainbow Nation. That ideal of the South Africa that we once were. Because that was a beautiful country. That was an incredible, impeccable country. Black, white, Indian, whatever. Africans, foreigners, whatever, all of us, here in this country. Our people doing well, this one doing well. Even though, right now, I will say that we must turn back on the foreigners a little bit. The foreigners that are here illegally and all that, we cannot accept them like we used to. They need to go home. Foreigners need to go home. Illegal foreigners need to go home. They need to go home and develop their countries that are in a dystopian society. They're in dystopia. So, yeah. Anyways, it's your boy Just King Zere signing out.